Hey guys, so yesterday I went and watched Danny Boyle's new film, 28 Years Later. Um, and I was very surprised by it when I saw it. I'm just going to get straight to the point today. Again, this is unscripted, but I've got a few things I want to talk about. Um, I really didn't expect what this film did towards the end. Now, I'm just going to tell you guys now, this is a spoiler review, right? I'm going to go into spoilers with this review. I'm going to say that now. So if you don't care about the film or you've seen it already, you can keep watching the video, but otherwise, I'd recommend clicking off. So I'm going to start talking about spoilers now. This is unexpectedly a film about family. It's not a movie about, it's not a movie that prioritizes horror like the other two films. Um, it's a movie, in my opinion, that prioritizes this boy, our protagonist, and his mother. Um, and as the boy comes to terms with the fact that his mother is very sick and that she's going to die. So, at the end of the film, she learns that she has cancer, and the boy has to let go of her. He has to understand that his mother's not going to make it. And that's a very mature and pretty original thing in these zombie movies. It took a very emotional approach, and I'm really surprised by that. Um, but I did have a few criticisms with it. I did like the emotional, personal, more sentimental part of this film. The focus, I really enjoyed that. But the camera work in this film was fine for the most part. But there was one thing about it. I don't know if this was just my theater, but it probably wasn't. Um, the camera work's very stylish. It's whenever zombies are being killed in the film, it generally the screen will just freeze for a second, for like half a second. And it was a bit nauseating at times. I didn't expect it. I was like, okay, well, I don't I just didn't understand why they couldn't just show a more clean kill for all these zombies. I don't understand why they have to just freeze the screen. It didn't make a lot of sense for me. I didn't like it. It was a bit irritating, but yeah, another thing that I didn't like about this film was the opening. Now, 28 weeks later, the second film in this three-part anthology. Now, I don't know if they're going to make another one, but we'll see. That opening scene in 28 weeks later is absolutely incredible. It is unbelievable. Um, how intense it is. It is so intense. It might be the most intense scene I've ever seen in a horror film because when you see that this house is really dark, right? And you see these people inside, and the zombies come breaking in. It's very cramped. It's very claustrophobic. It's narrow, and then this guy is faced with the morally ambiguous decision to leave his wife, to die. Um, it's rough. It's not an easy watch. Um, but I loved it. It was so good at setting the tone for this film. But then 28 years later is really comical. I didn't enjoy it because it's these kids in this sitting room and they're watching Teletubbies. They're watching Teletubbies of all things. And then seconds later a zombie breaks in and just kills them all off screen, but still it's just so silly and so stupid and it's so out of nowhere to the point that it's just funny. It's not I don't get it. And one of the kids gets out, right, and he's running away, and he goes over to his dad, who's in the church, right, and then he gets eaten by zombies while he's like praying to Jesus or whatever. It was so stupid. I could not take it seriously. I couldn't take it seriously. It was so funny. Um, the opening scenes in zombie films are super important for setting the tone. So why, for the love of God, is this one just so bad? I thought it was awful because not because it was like not because it wasn't bad. It was just it was too funny for me to take it seriously. And when I can't take it seriously, how am I supposed to become emotionally invested? And then they take this boy at the start of the movie, the boy who isn't the protagonist, right? The protagonist is Spike, this kid Spike with his ma. But there's this other kid at the start of the film. He runs away. He's the one who gets involved with his dad in the church, and he shows up at the end, and he's a Power Ranger now. He's a Scottish Welsh Power Ranger who saves Spike at the end of the movie. Yeah, I couldn't take it seriously. I've been thinking about this film for a day now, and I cannot take that seriously. I don't know what this film is trying to be. Is it trying to be funny, or is it trying to be horror? Because there are some scenes in this film that work effectively at being intense, at being almost horrifying, like the fat zombies that are completely naked and they're eating worms. That's some disgusting, horrifying shit. I thought that was pretty scary, and the fast running zombies will never get old. Those things they can stay away from me. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I thought the tone was a bit all over the place, and maybe that's a Danny Boyle thing. Danny Boyle's Train Spotting, for example, is a very serious film that deals with a lot of heavy subject matter, but it's also quite funny. It's a very funny film, and but the difference between Train Spotting and this is that Train Spotting is a good movie. um, Train Spotting is a classic. It is seamless. It is just iconic, and it is one of my favorite films ever because of how enjoyable it is. And 28 years later is enjoyable, sure, but it's a zombie movie, and I couldn't tell if it was trying to be a horror movie or a comedy movie. I guess you could say it was a horror comedy, but it doesn't blend those two things very well, in my opinion, and that might just be me. But I feel like I should get back on track with the positive things. Yeah, a definite pro with this film is Ralph Fiennes. Ralph Fiennes is brilliant in everything he's in, especially In Bruges and Schindler's List are my favorite performances by him. Those are two of some of my favorite films of all time, especially In Bruges. Um, he's just really good at playing a villainous character, but this time he was very he was a very unique doctor character. Um, he's the most interesting character in the whole film because he manages to neutralize the zombies, and he builds this tower of skulls to make sure that um, everybody who dies is remembered. It's very weird, it's very odd, but it's original, and he was definitely a welcoming inclusion to the cast here. And yeah, he was easily my favorite character and probably my favorite part of the whole film, aside from the whole family thing. That you have to accept death. That death is inevitable, regardless of if you're in a dystopian world filled with zombies. It's something you have to come to terms with at some point or another. And I thought that was a really mature way to go about the film. Um, so yeah, I brought up the ending before, but the ending was just it was so stupid, and I don't understand why they would bring back this character from the very beginning to the end without any build up, any foreshadowing, just absolutely nothing. There's no reason for it, and I just didn't understand that part. But I feel like I should cap this off positively. Ralph Fiennes was brilliant, and the performances from the character from the actor who plays Spike and his mother, they were very good. And there was a comic relief character, a very brief comic relief character called Eric. I forgot the actor's name off the top of my head, but he was probably my second favorite character in the film. Um, and yeah, his inclusion was very important for one specific part of the film that I found very interesting as well. This might be another positive about it. Um, a zombie gives birth in this film to a perfectly healthy baby, and I thought that that was a very interesting choice, and that was also very original. So yeah, I think there are a lot of very original things about 28 years later, but also a few things I didn't like the camera work. Um, I didn't like the ending, and I didn't like the opening, but everything in between had quite a few positives. And over on Letterboxd, I gave it 3 stars. So yeah, it was. I liked it more than I disliked it. That's what I'll say. So yeah, if you guys have seen 28 Years Later, I'd really like to hear what you guys have to say about it. In the comments below or over on Letterboxd, that'd be amazing. Um, I'll put my Letterboxd in the description below. And thanks for watching. See you guys later. Bye.